A flash of blue light pierced through 2,000 feet of darkness, illuminating something that shouldn't exist. Marine biologist Sarah Chen nearly dropped her remote when the first images hit the control room's main screen. There, trapped in ancient Antarctic ice, lay a creature that defied everything we thought we knew about evolution. Not just another frozen specimen, but a window into an impossible past that would shake the foundations of modern science. The discovery sent shockwaves through the research vessel Polaris as team members crowded around monitors, their breath fogging the screens in the climate-controlled lab. What they found wasn't just big, it was evolutionary dynamite. The creature's body stretched nearly 40 feet, with a bone structure that seemed to merge features from a dozen different species. But it was the skull that made the seasoned scientists step back. 3 separate jaw structures, each lined with teeth that suggested different feeding patterns, all working in perfect biological harmony. The team had stumbled upon what some would later call evolution's forgotten experiment. "This changes everything," Chen whispered, her hands trembling as she adjusted the underwater camera. But what exactly was everything? And more importantly, why had this creature remained hidden for so long? The ice core samples suggested an age of over 15 million years, but the biology screamed modern adaptation. How could something this advanced exist so far back in Earth's timeline? The answers would prove more disturbing than anyone aboard the Polaris could imagine. As news of the discovery leaked out, the scientific community split into warring camps. Some claimed it was a hoax, others insisted it was proof of parallel evolution, while a few brave souls suggested something far more radical, that our entire understanding of Earth's biological timeline needed a complete rewrite. But in that frozen moment, as the creature's 3 sets of eyes stared back through millions of years of ice, only one question really mattered. What else might be down there, waiting in the dark? The tests would later reveal something even more shocking: traces of a complex nervous system that shouldn't have evolved until mammals ruled the Earth. But that was just the beginning of the mystery. What forces could have driven such rapid and complex evolution? And why did this evolutionary line seemingly vanish without a trace? As Chen and her team would soon discover, sometimes the most important scientific discoveries don't answer questions. They create new ones. Life aboard the Polaris transformed into a frenzy of activity as the world's leading evolutionary biologists converged on the tiny research vessel, transforming its cramped labs into a buzzing hive of scientific discovery. The creature, dubbed Triclops abyssalis for its distinctive eye arrangement, proved more fascinating with each passing hour. Tissue analysis revealed cellular structures that shouldn't exist in the same organism, like finding a smartphone in a Victorian mansion or a jet engine in a horse-drawn carriage. The creature's muscle fibers showed characteristics of both warm and cold-blooded animals, suggesting it could regulate its body temperature in ways modern science hadn't thought possible until now, challenging our fundamental understanding of thermoregulation in ancient species. The dating controversy exploded when 3 separate labs returned wildly different results, sparking heated debates that would reshape our understanding of evolutionary timelines. Oxford placed the specimen at 15 million years old, while Stanford's analysis suggested 30 million, and Tokyo's results hinted at something even more impossible: 45 million years. The discord wasn't just academic. It threatened to upend decades of carefully constructed evolutionary theories. How could one creature generate such disparate readings? The answer lay in its bones, or rather, what appeared to be bones but weren't quite what anyone expected. Each new test brought more questions than answers, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible in biological evolution. The skeleton wasn't calcium-based like every other vertebrate on Earth. Instead, it contained a unique mineral structure that seemed designed to withstand extreme pressure changes, suggesting an adaptation to environments we hadn't even discovered yet. The composition included elements rarely found in biological systems, arranged in crystalline structures that more closely resembled advanced synthetic materials than natural bone. This wasn't just an ancestor of modern deep-sea creatures. It was something else entirely. A biological experiment that nature had conducted and then apparently abandoned. But what kind of evolutionary pressure could create such adaptations? And why haven't we found anything like it in the fossil record? Dr. James Wong from MIT's Complex Evolution Lab spent 3 sleepless nights analyzing the creature's cellular structure before making a statement that would send shockwaves through the scientific community. It's like finding a Ferrari parked in ancient Rome. The technology, or in this case the biology, simply shouldn't exist at that point in time. But exist it did, and with each new test, Triclops abyssalis forced scientists to question basic assumptions about evolutionary timelines. The creature's digestive system showed evidence of being able to process both organic and inorganic materials, suggesting it could survive in environments we'd previously thought impossible for complex life. Its neural tissue displayed patterns of organization that wouldn't appear again in nature until the evolution of modern cephalopods, hinting at a level of intelligence that seemed impossible for its era. As research teams worked around the clock, a more troubling question emerged. If this creature could evolve such advanced features millions of years before they appeared in other species, what happened to its evolutionary line? Did it represent a dead end or worse? Were there more of these biological impossibilities still lurking in Earth's deepest waters, hiding from our limited understanding of life itself? The presence of specialized sensory organs, unlike anything in the fossil record, suggested an apex predator adapted to hunting in conditions we still can't fully comprehend. What kind of ecosystem could have produced such a creature? And more importantly, what other undiscovered species might have shared its ancient world? The implications of these questions would keep scientists awake for months to come, as they grappled with the possibility that evolution might be far more complex and far less linear than anyone had previously imagined. Could there be other branches of the tree of life, hidden in the depths, waiting to reshape our understanding of natural history once again? The scientific community erupted into unprecedented chaos as Triclops abyssalis shattered decades of established evolutionary theory. Harvard's prestigious Darwin Center became ground zero for what the media dubbed the evolution wars, with leading scientists taking sides in increasingly heated debates that transcended traditional academic discourse. The creature's impossible features sparked not just academic disagreement, but outright hostility between former colleagues and research partners, leading to dramatic public confrontations at conferences and bitter exchanges in peer-reviewed journals. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a rising star in evolutionary biology, faced death threats after suggesting that Triclops might represent evidence of convergent evolution happening millions of years earlier than previously thought possible, forcing her to conduct her groundbreaking research under armed security. The controversy deepened when Dr. Wei Chen from Beijing University released his groundbreaking analysis of the creature's neural tissue. Using advanced quantum microscopy, his team discovered structures that appeared to be quantum coherent networks, something previously thought impossible in biological systems predating modern cephalopods by millions of years. These networks suggested a level of consciousness and information processing that wouldn't emerge again until the evolution of modern mammals. The implications were staggering. Not only was Triclops potentially self-aware, but it might have possessed cognitive abilities that would rival those of modern dolphins or great apes. We're not just looking at an ancient creature, Chen explained during a controversial TED Talk that would later be viewed more than 50 million times. We're looking at an ancient intelligence that could fundamentally change our understanding of consciousness itself. The quantum neural findings triggered a cascade of competing theories, each more revolutionary than the last. Dr. Sarah Thompson from Caltech proposed that Triclops might represent an entirely separate origin of life on Earth, evolving alongside but independent from all known evolutionary lineages. Her shadow tree hypothesis suggested that beneath the familiar branches of life's evolution, another tree of life might have grown in parallel, producing creatures we're only now beginning to discover. The implications sent tremors through religious and scientific communities alike, prompting urgent conferences at the Vatican and heated debates in mosques and synagogues worldwide. Could there have been multiple Genesis events on Earth? And if so, what did that mean for our understanding of life's origin? Meanwhile, in the depths of the Mariana Trench, unmanned submersibles picked up signatures eerily similar to Triclops' unique bone structure. The Japanese research vessel Kaiko detected what appeared to be a massive organized migration of unknown creatures, at depths previously thought too hostile for complex life, moving in patterns that suggested coordinated behavior. Deep-sea thermal imaging revealed vast networks of bioelectrical activity that matched no known species. Were these echoes of ancient relatives, or evidence that these impossible creatures might still exist? What were these entities, and why had they remained hidden for so long in Earth's most inaccessible reaches? The debates took an even more contentious turn when Dr. Marcus Blackwood presented evidence that Triclops's cellular structure contained what appeared to be engineered elements. Not just advanced evolution, but something that looked almost designed. Cellular machinery with a level of complexity that defied random mutation and natural selection. His paper was immediately attacked as pseudoscience, but the data remained stubbornly consistent across multiple labs. Independent researchers in 7 countries confirmed his findings, leading to a crisis in evolutionary biology. If these structures were natural, they suggested an evolutionary sophistication that made modern organisms look primitive by comparison. If they weren't natural, well, nobody wanted to seriously consider those implications, though late-night discussions in university labs often turned to uncomfortable speculations about ancient genetic engineering or extraterrestrial intervention. As the academic battles raged, private research corporations began quietly funding deep-sea expeditions, hoping to find more specimens like Triclops. Pharmaceutical companies saw potential in the creature's unique biochemistry, while biotechnology firms dreamed of harnessing its pressure-resistant properties for deep-sea mining operations. What other biological impossibilities might be hiding in Earth's least explored regions? And more importantly, what commercial applications might these ancient adaptations have in the modern world? The race to unlock Triclops's secrets had begun, driven by both scientific curiosity and corporate greed. But would humanity be ready for the answers lurking in the depths? As research vessels from a dozen nations converged on the Antarctic Discovery Site, tensions mounted between scientific openness and national security interest. Who would control these discoveries? And what might be the cost of unlocking secrets that nature had kept hidden for millions of years? The world held its breath as the largest deep-sea expedition in human history launched from ports across 5 continents. Operation Deep Origins, as it was officially known, marked the first time in history that competing nations pooled their most advanced underwater technology for a single mission. The Chinese research vessel Shanghai Dragon carried revolutionary quantum sensors designed to detect biological signatures matching Triclops's unique pattern. The American Nautilus brought experimental pressure-resistant drones capable of reaching depths never before explored. The Russian Mir-4 deployed swarms of autonomous microsubmarines programmed to map vast swaths of the ocean floor in unprecedented detail. What they found in the crushing depths would rewrite every marine biology textbook ever printed. Vast networks of bioluminescent structures stretched across the abyssal plain, pulsing with patterns that suggested not just life, but organization, on a scale previously unimaginable. 3 miles beneath the surface, the first contact occurred. A swarm of creatures that defied classification surrounded the Russian probe, displaying behavior that the onboard AI classified as clearly intelligent. These entities, roughly the size of dolphins but with morphology closer to ancient arthropods, appeared to be using some form of bioelectric communication that interfered with the probe's sensors. The breakthrough came when Dr. Aisha Patel, observing from the Indian vessel Samudra, noticed something extraordinary in the creature's movement patterns. They weren't just swimming. They were manipulating quantum fields to create localized areas of reduced pressure, effectively surfing on self-generated gravity waves. This discovery sent shockwaves through the physics community. How could relatively small organisms harness forces that human technology barely understood? More disturbing still, these creatures showed clear signs of being social predators, coordinating their movements with a precision that suggested high-level problem-solving abilities. Deep-sea thermal imaging revealed vast migrations of these beings, moving between hydrothermal vents in patterns that corresponded to changes in Earth's magnetic field. They were using the planet's own geomagnetic signature as a navigation system more sophisticated than anything humans had developed. But it was the discovery of their nesting sites that truly stunned the scientific world. Carved into the bedrock of the ocean floor, vast geometric structures housed what appeared to be nurseries for these creatures, complete with temperature, regulation systems that operated through principles of quantum tunneling. The expedition's most shocking discovery came when a French probe encountered what team members initially mistook for an underwater mountain. As the drone's lights illuminated the structure, the truth became clear. They were looking at a living organism, a creature of such vast proportions that it dwarfed every known species on Earth. Its body architecture shared clear similarities with Triclops abyssalis, but scaled up to impossible dimensions. More incredibly, it appeared to be using quantum entanglement for internal communication, effectively operating as a macro-scale quantum organism. Was this the adult form of Triclops? Or something even more extraordinary? As surface ships tracked these entities across ocean basins, patterns emerged suggesting a complex social hierarchy extending throughout the world's deep oceans. These weren't just isolated specimens. They were part of a thriving ecosystem that had remained hidden from human detection, operating according to biological principles that challenged our most fundamental understanding of life itself. But the most troubling question remained unanswered. Were these creatures truly ancient survivors, or had they been evolving in the depths all along, growing more sophisticated while humanity remained blissfully unaware of their existence? And what might happen now that two intelligent species, one that dominated the surface and one that ruled the depths, had finally become aware of each other's existence? The dust had barely settled on Operation Deep Origins when the world began grappling with its staggering implications. The discovery of quantum-manipulating creatures living in organized societies beneath our oceans created ripples far beyond the scientific community. Global financial markets experienced unprecedented volatility as biotech companies scrambled to patent anything remotely connected to the deep-sea discoveries. Within weeks, a new industry emerged, focused solely on potential applications of quantum biological technologies. Dr. Sarah Reynolds watched from her MIT lab as humanity struggled to process the paradigm shift. We're like Victorian scientists discovering electricity, she mused during a landmark TED Talk that quickly went viral. We've stumbled upon beings that don't just understand quantum mechanics. They've evolved to manipulate it as naturally as we manipulate tools. Her comparison would prove more apt than anyone initially realized. The creature's ability to generate and control localized quantum fields had implications for everything from energy production to space travel. Pentagon officials moved swiftly to classify certain aspects of the discoveries, particularly those related to the creature's pressure manipulation abilities. Chinese researchers reported similar interventions from their government. The prospect of beings capable of creating localized gravity fields raised obvious military concerns. What if these abilities could be replicated? More worryingly, what if the creatures themselves could be controlled or weaponized? Deep beneath the politics and speculation, the creatures continued their mysterious activities. New data from monitoring stations across the globe revealed patterns that defied conventional analysis. The massive quantum organism discovered by the French probe wasn't unique. Similar entities had been detected in every major ocean basin. They appeared to be moving in coordinated patterns, maintaining vast networks of quantum-entangled communication that spanned the globe. Dr. Elena Martinez from the Oceanographic Institute of Barcelona coined a term that would soon enter common usage: the deep mind, a hypothesis suggesting these beings operated as a single, planet-spanning intelligence. The breakthrough that changed everything came from an unexpected source. Dr. James Liu, a quantum computing specialist who'd been analyzing the creature's bioelectric signatures, made a stunning discovery. The quantum fluctuations weren't just communication, they were computation. The entire deep-sea ecosystem appeared to be functioning as a massive biological quantum computer, solving complex problems that would take human supercomputers millions of years to process. But what exactly were they calculating? As research vessels continued to monitor the depths, a new pattern emerged. The creature's activities intensified during significant astronomical events. Solar flares, planetary alignments, even passing comets. Were they merely responding to these phenomena, or were they preparing for something? The question became more urgent when deep-sea seismic sensors detected what appeared to be deliberate modifications to the ocean floor. The creatures weren't just surviving in their environment, they were reshaping it. Dr. Aisha Patel, now heading a multinational research initiative, proposed a controversial theory. What if they're not just another form of life that evolved on Earth? What if they're the original form of life on this planet, and everything else, including us, is just a recent development? Her hypothesis, though initially dismissed, gained traction as more evidence emerged of the creature's ancient origins and sophisticated capabilities. As humanity stands on the brink of this new chapter in its history, more questions arise than answers. Are we witnessing the emergence of a long-hidden intelligence, or are we finally noticing what was always there? The creature's mastery of quantum mechanics suggests possibilities that blur the line between biology and physics, between life as we know it and something entirely different. As Dr. Reynolds noted in her final address to the United Nations Scientific Council, we thought we were the pinnacle of Earth's evolution. Now we have to face the possibility that we're just the latest arrivals at a party that's been going on for millions of years. The deep oceans, it seems, have been keeping secrets far more profound than anyone imagined. As humanity peers into this quantum abyss, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Our understanding of life, consciousness, and reality itself may never be the same. Would you like me to expand this chapter further with more scientific detail or explore any particular aspect in greater depth?